Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast. Those stories we did not get to during the course of the day today. And I know sometimes, Betty, like when I'm doing stories, it's like a harder story or a little sad or whatever. And you're like, why not when it goes to your story. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do something new today. Random news.
Random, huh?
It's like the dumbest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
All right. So you're going to get to pick 1, 2, or 3. Just tell me which one, 1, 2, or 3, and you'll get that story that corresponds with that number.
3.
3. You always pick 3 because it's my favorite number, and I knew you would do that.
Uh-oh.
That's why I picked the saddest story for 3.
Yes!
Yes!
Let's get sad in
Yes. Okay. So there was a seal that was swimming.
Like a Navy
off,
seal?
No. A real seal that was swimming off the coast of California, and it was being chased by a great white shark.
The
and
natural order of things.
Don't
I know.
do that.
And
It's just
so,
nature.
yeah, and so these
Stop
fishermen were
it.
out there, and the seal tried to get up into the boat because they saw that it was being pursued, and it was jumping out of the water, and they tried to get it in the boat. And so at first they were trying to get it in, but then the shark kept coming at the thing.
Stop.
So they pushed the seal back
No,
into the
they
ocean.
did not. No, they did not.
Yeah, God made us this way. Like, you have to get
Stop.
Survival of the fittest.
Come on now.
No,
Stop.
I'm just kidding. That wasn't the story. You picked TikTok back in court.
I wrote this down.
Nicely done.
TikTok is back in court?
Yeah.
What for?
Basically, the U.S. government is trying to ban TikTok, which
Why?
would be devastating for me. Well, it stems from the fact that they feel that the Chinese government has something to do with it. It has a parent company called ByteDance, and the U.S. says you are sending information about American citizens to the Chinese government.
Mm-hmm.
That's layer 1 of this. And the Biden administration, I guess, signed a law last year that would start this process of preventing it and saying it's a threat to the U.S. because of China. Now, this isn't new to the Biden thing. I'm not like just bashing Biden. I'm not bashing anybody, but I'm just saying this is what happened. But Trump actually, under his administration, had tried to ban TikTok as well. So what happened was, they said you can still work in the country, but you have to sell a portion of your company to Oracle to manage the data, so it doesn't get into the hands of the Chinese government. And so they are battling now. It's going to court between ByteDance and the White House, basically. And they say that they spent $2 billion to implement measures to keep from the Chinese government having access to data from U.S. citizens and storing it in the U.S. and all the things that you just can't trust China on anyway. And so they're going to go all the way up probably to the Supreme Court on this one to see how this shakes out.
Listen.
Yes.
I don't care for politics.
I know that.
Don't like it.
I know.
So keep it out of my TikTok.
I know. I know.
You can have anything, but you choose to take my TikTok, I got issues now.
Here's the one thing about this, because like whether they know where I live or what I drive or what I do for a living, like I don't care about that stuff. And I know I probably should care more. Like some like super patriots would say you should care about all that stuff. So I don't care about that as much. But one of the bigger arguments inside of this is, like every social media, they have algorithms and they can adjust what you see. Okay. So if you think about it in election cycles, or you think about it in other just systemic policy or what people feel and believe, if you are consuming social media and they're serving you something that is incorrect, or they're serving you false information, or they're serving you one side of information because of the algorithm and because they've designed it that way, then it could make you maybe not be informed and make you angry about something that's not even real, kind of thing. That's where they're saying the big dangers in that. When they talked about Russian hackers messing with the election, they weren't talking years ago about Russian hackers getting into the polls and adding votes or subtracting votes. They were talking about them messing with what people were seeing and things not being accurate or being one-sided, and so that it would alter the outcome.
Fine, but just don't post anything political on TikTok. That's not what people are going to TikTok for anyway.
Right.
I go there for cat videos.
I know. When I think about what I see on TikTok, like what comes up for me, well, I do see, but I do get a lot of politics on mine. Like I get a bunch of Charlie Kirk, who I really like. I don't get as much of Ben Shapiro, because I'm right wing. I don't get as much Ben Shapiro and stuff anymore, but Charlie Kirk comes up for me all the time because I watch his stuff and I like it.
At one point, you were getting a ton of that one dude who had the, what was it, like, what's a woman?
Matt Walsh.
Yeah, you were getting a ton of Matt Walsh content at one point.
That was when we were sharing a TikTok
Yeah.
profile.
And then Betty left me.
You messed up the algorithm, and I saw a terrible video of a zebra getting attacked by a
crocodile.
tiger.
Oh yeah.
And it was screaming for its life. I said, I'm over it.
She was out.
Done.
She was out.
I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, and so but I also the interesting thing is I get a bunch of faith-based stuff from like this pastor Kelly Kay and Josh Howerton, and some other people. I get there's one guy, I forget the guy who's an apologist. You like him, Gavin, the older guy.
Cliff something. It's Cliff Nettle or something.
Yeah, he basically takes on people on college campuses,
that was right.
and when he challenges them to think and gives them a perspective, and he's really good at it, And so there's actually, if your algorithm is right, there's really great stuff like zebras getting eaten by tigers that you can see just whenever.
My entire TikTok is just baby stuff, like right now, which I never thought it would be.
And that's what I love too, because
I'll
I'll send Gavin all the videos of like babies having blowout diapers, and I send that to Gavin.
I spent a lot of time watching baby barf videos yesterday, where they're just like, "Oh, finish the bottle."
Really?
I've been very self-conscious of like, when I put him up to burp, I put him on my shoulder.
Yeah.
And only one time has he burped like facing me, and it landed in my beard.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, that's a little gross, but at least it wasn't, close to my mouth.
Yeah. Well, that'll happen.
To Wally.
It happened to me. It'll happen to you.
I know it will.
It's inevitable.
I know. Yeah.
Inevitable.
I was just trying to push it off.
Yeah. You don't want to rush to that.
He's only had one like blowout so far, and I wasn't around for it. Which
that's even better.
It's a good day.
Yeah. Oof. I'm
Not
about
for
to have
Haley,
a good day.
Your wife, but.
Oh man. Well, there you go. So you missed what stories you missed out on that Betty did not pick was the bronze medal is still in debate for Jordan Chiles, and you missed out on Princess Kate. This one was actually interesting.
I like
I know.
Princess
Sorry.
All right, you missed your chance.
Yeah.
All right,
you
move on.
could have picked it. It was story number 1. I even put it there because I thought you would pick 1 and not 3. So.
My turn?
Yeah, but it was cancer related, so it might have been a. Okay, go Rock.
Okay. Okay. Miley Cyrus, she's in a new lawsuit, and it's because there is a production company named Tempo Music Productions. They are claiming that Miley Cyrus is copywriting her song Flowers with Bruno Mars's song When I Was Your Man. Now, you may be like, wait, which songs are those? I'm glad you asked. I found where people have, it must have stood out to a lot of people. So someone mashed them up.
Okay.
And see what you think if you sound like it, if you think it's a copyright issue.
I should have bought you flowers. I can buy myself flowers. Write my name and say it. Give you all my hours. Talk to myself for hours. The head that she thinks you don't understand. Take you to every party, 'cause all you wanted to do was dance.
Usually these songs are about musical infringement, like the notes, and it's like, oh, you ripped off my riff or the chord progression and stuff like that. That one's interesting because I think it's far less musical and lyrical. Like when you put the lyrics on top of them, the
like a
hours
duet.
and flower. Yeah, really, that's pretty.
Close. Yeah. Well, that's just the hook. If you heard the verses, then yes, like
really?
The tone sounds the same. So Bruno Mars is not involved in this lawsuit. It's the production company, and they claim they have a share of the copyright to Bruno Mars's song. So no word yet on if Bruno says, yeah, she copied me. She needs to stop.
I don't see Bruno going after Miley Cyrus.
He's got his own stuff. He doesn't care.
Yeah, and the thing about this is like when people own a copyright to a song, that gives them the right to do things with it and to control how it's used and to be paid for when it's used or infringed upon. And so many times the artist has nothing to do with it. Like you might hear a song from an artist in a movie. You're like, why would they have that song in that movie? I I don't like that. Like, it happens with Christian artists too. Like, I don't like that. They have nothing to do with that. There's companies called placement companies. They find songs that they like that works for it, and then the artist gets paid, or whoever owns the copyright gets paid for it, but they are not out there hand picking. That happened in the election. One of the campaigns, I don't remember which one, it's probably Trump, because like most of the Democrat people that use songs, most of the artists are Democrats anyway, and so it kind of like they don't fight it. But usually, like, if you use a song in a political campaign and the artist is a Democrat, they get really bent about it, and they're like, "Oh, you can't do this, and you didn't have permission." And there was one that came up for this latest election, and I forget who it was. I wish I could remember the artist, but like, I did not give permission, and it's like, well, no, they went through the proper channels and got it cleared and bought the rights to the song. Yeah, okay, you didn't get permission. You don't have the right to. You don't own the rights to the song, you know. So they didn't do anything wrong, but they were trying to make it seem like they had done something to infringe and steal a song, you know. I hate that stuff.
Well, speaking of Miley Cyrus, I want to talk a little bit about Hannah Montana.
Oh, who doesn't want to
please
talk
do.
about Hannah Montana? You got Gavin's and my attention.
Them around front. Styles, every shoe, every color.
I did not hate the show.
I didn't either.
I should have hated the show because I was an adult. Like, you were probably still a kid watching this.
That's probably 12 or 13.
Were you really? Because, yeah, you're only 2 years older than my daughter.
There was this era where it was Hannah Montana. There was Wizards of Waverly Place.
Haley was not allowed to watch that when she was younger.
Wizards of Waverly
the
Place.
Was not allowed to watch it.
Magic?
Yeah, magic. And then I'm a magician now, so.
Well, that's a reach. A big reach.
I spent 4 hours on a plane, 3 hours on a plane watching how to do card tricks, and I wrote them down so that I could go back to my notes and find songs or tricks to do quickly.
My favorite era this year was you walking over here with the cards, and
I know.
I'd move all my stuff out of the way.
We loved it. It was something we loved, and then someone wet blanketed it and
Grinch.
killed it.
Well, because they kept going wrong. Like, no, wait a minute. That's not how it's supposed
The
to go.
one
Let me
with
try it
your-
again.
the one
And
with
even
your-
the third
phone?
time, you're like, come on.
the phone one's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that one got me.
I
All
told
right.
Betty today because we have to shoot a video for a concert, and I'm like, I got an idea for the video. She's like, oh, great, I don't have to do it. Great. I'm like, well, it involves a magic trick. Dang it!
So, Hannah Montana, if you didn't know it, so Miley Cyrus, of course, plays
Is Hannah Montana? It's the
She
same
is
person.
Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
I know. And her dad, her real life dad, Billy Ray Cyrus, plays her dad in Hannah Montana. You know him from this big country hit.
Don't tell my heart, my aching, breaking heart. I just
Man,
don't think it
that guy
understand.
made so much money on this song. I mean, it's
And that
all he
mullet.
has. He had that song, I Want My Mullet Back, but that was not lightning did not strike twice for Billy Ray.
Anyways, he was selling out concerts. You know, when he
Yeah.
had that hit back in the 90s, it was a big deal. But then, of course, like Wally said, he kind of lost his footing. But then his daughter, Miley Cyrus, she got the deal with Disney to be in Hannah Montana, and that really took off. Well, in a recent book that's by Ashley Spencer, I'm not sure who that is, but she wrote a book called Disney High, The Untold Story of the Rise and Fall of Disney Channel's Tween Empire.
That's a long title.
Yeah, so this is all about Miley Cyrus and Zendaya, Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato.
I used to like little Zendaya, or Zendaya. I'm not sure. I've always said it Zendaya.
Shake It Up Chicago.
Yeah.
Ariana Grande. Like,
Oh,
That
yeah.
was Nickelodeon, yeah.
That
Oh,
was
was it? Oh, then it was
Justice. Victorious, yeah.
Anyway, so this book goes into more detail about what was going on behind the scenes of the Hannah Montana set.
Ah.
So at the beginning, Billy Ray didn't need the money.
Sure.
You know, like he had a huge hit
Needs
with
it now.
Oh, yeah. He had a huge hit with
Achy
Achy
Breaky
Breaky
Heart.
Heart. But he wanted for his daughter to live out her dreams on Hannah Montana. And they said, we would love for you to play her dad in the show. Okay, fine, I'll do it for her. Well, those couple episodes turned into 6 seasons? Gavin should know. And he has them
Probably.
all on VHS or DVD.
DVD, come on.
I don't know. You love VHS. Anyway, so times got a little tough, and Billy Ray started trailing off into getting into drug and alcohol
Oh,
abuse.
during the show?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
On the set.
that's not good.
Yeah, not good
With
at all.
his daughter there, too.
And,
Yeah, drunk dad on set? No.
and they said, it was mainly just because he felt like his star was
Being
fading.
eclipsed, yeah.
And his
Because
daughter
now
was
Miley is the biggest
eclipsing
thing,
him.
and the show doesn't need him. And he's getting up at 6 a.m. every
a
morning
great
to go and
character.
do this show for his daughter. But it's just getting old. Well, anyways, once the show was over with, he and his wife, which was Miley's mom, got a divorce. He moved back to Tennessee, and the rest of his family stayed in L.A. And he told in an interview, he said, "I wish we had never done Hannah Montana." He claims that it tore his family apart. He said that he's
Seems
never
like
yelled at
maybe
Miley
he did.
Cyrus.
that.
He never got on to her or anything, but she started making decisions that I guess he didn't agree with, and he felt like he lost control. And then her mom got involved, all those things, and it just kind of fell away. It's sad.
It's a mess.
Yeah, it is a mess. And we had seen not that long ago that Miley was sitting down with someone doing an interview, and she was bad-mouthing Billy Ray. Saying
Yeah.
Was
like,
she really?
yeah, she
Yeah.
said something like, "He taught me how to be self-centered," or something like that.
Yeah, it was like a veiled swipe, kind of thing.
And then Billy Ray recently married, then divorced a girl that used to be on the set of Hannah Montana. There was a big
It wasn't
age
like
gap.
the best friend, was it? The
Emily
blonde?
Osment?
Yeah,
No,
it wasn't her, was it?
no.
Oh, that
It was
would
a
be,
blonde, but I don't remember. But
That'd be
anyways,
vicious.
she's maybe 25, and I think he's 55.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay, wow.
There was a big age gap there, and so I think he was even younger. I think she's younger than Miley.
Oh my
Oh, he's
goodness.
63. Oh, my
Oh,
God.
63.
wow.
Buddy.
Anyways, they were married for a couple of
They were
months and then got divorced.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Was
name
that her best friend on the show?
No, it
Oh.
wasn't. But she. Oh, wow. Yeah. Her name was. That's Fire Rose.
Fire
all one
Rose.
word, by the
Checks
way.
out.
Anyways, I think it's sad because he said he regrets it all, and if he could take it all back, he would, so that he could have his family back.
I guess it
That's
does. I mean, yeah, and I know like it's probably easy for him to sit there and blame the TV show, but then you have to know like you were culpable in that. You were making decisions as a husband and a father as well that weren't the best for your family either. Like you're not innocent completely in this. No relationship almost no relationship falls from one side, and so I could see him wanting to blame that. But I mean, it could have been the catalyst for a lot of things for sure.
And it could make sense why Miley feels betrayed by her dad,
Sure.
because if he was using substances while on set, then showing off or not showing up on
Yeah.
set when he didn't have his lines ready, when she did,
Right.
that would get annoying. And then he ends up dating and marrying a girl that's younger than you from the set. Whoo, that's a tough one.
I do think that it is. I mean, it speaks to the tale as old as time. It's the child star thing. Yet we never really fully learn from it because we still keep cranking out child, star kind of shows so that kids have something to aspire to and like and identify with,
But I would say, and I could be wrong, but think about it. What's those twins that were on Disney?
Dylan and Cole Sprouse.
No,
Look,
that's a great show.
I had, Which did you like, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody or Life on Deck?
I think in retrospect,
Yeah.
I think
Sound
when
like
I was
two little
younger, I
12-year-old
enjoyed
girls.
On
Yeah.
Deck more, but I
Yeah.
liked if I go rewatch Sweet Life of Zach and Cody is funnier
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, because they were still kids. They weren't
Yeah.
teenagers then.
All that to say, think about them. Think about Zac Efron. Think about
They're all doing pretty well
what's
these days.
Josh and Cody.
Oh,
Oh,
Drake
well,
and Josh?
Drake and Josh.
Okay.
One of
Drake-
those not
yeah.
doing
One
so
of them
good.
not doing good,
Yeah.
but the other one's doing great.
Yeah,
It
Josh.
seems like the boys do so much better, or they don't feel like they have to
Interesting.
prove as much as the girls do.
Never
You
thought of
think
that.
about all the girls like Selena Gomez, Ariana Grande.
She's having a great career right now. And
They
Ariana's having a
all
great
seem
career
to
right
feel
now.
like they need to sexualize themselves.
Right.
They
did go
really
through
need to
the-
go
yeah.
above and beyond Miley Cyrus. They need to go above and
Wrecking
beyond
Ball.
to prove that they're not
A kid.
a kid anymore.
Yeah.
Whereas the guys don't seem to be that way. And I don't know what Demi Lovato,
Well,
she's another perfect
oh,
example.
She's
Train
had a-
wreck.
she's
It's
had a lot
like
go
it's
on.
like they fall
Amanda
off somewhere.
Bynes.
Amanda
Yeah.
Bynes.
That one's super sad.
We still don't know the story behind that. The only two that I can think of that have skirted out of this, Hillary Duff.
Yeah.
She's turned out fine.
Yeah.
And then the Ashley Tisdale.
Tisdale, yeah.
She seemed to be fine. Vanessa, what's her
Hudgens?
face?
Vanessa Hudgens.
I think she's okay. No,
She's okay now, but she went. I mean, I think she went through that same era of like
Yeah.
sexualizing herself.
Yeah, but I don't know why that is. That the girls seem to feel like they have to go above
Well,
and
maybe
beyond.
because maybe it goes to the bigger thing of like how guys never really grow up. Women always say that. Well, it's just I'm like raising another child. Men just don't grow up and stuff like that. So maybe there's not an expectation on them to grow up until they've already started turning gray.
Yeah.
So they're just being guys, and so there's not that thing. Whereas women, you go from this girl to, well, now I need to be a woman, and what does that look like? And unfortunately, for most of these women, these girls turn women, the world that they're in is a sexualized world, and that's how they do it.
That's how you make money.
Yeah, well, even look
You
at
can't
Taylor
stay on
Swift.
Disney all the
Taylor
time.
Swift went from the and she's not like overly sexualized, but like she went from the country girl, all shucks, to the pop princess.
Oh yeah, she's definitely different from what she was.
And she had to reinvent herself, and then her content got more. I hate to use the word explicit, but it
did though.
I
saw a chart
yeah.
where someone put it together. They started counting the number of curse words that she used
Yeah.
in her albums, and it just gradually went up
Yeah.
and up and up and up and up.
Yeah, and so the girl, I do hate to see that that's what women equate to growing up is becoming. Well, as a woman, you've got to hate that too. Is like your version of growing up is becoming a sexualized person. Well, who's doing that to you? Is that something you're doing yourself because that's what you see and you're emulating, or do you have people around you that are like, this is what you need to do for your career? And if that's the case, those people are horrible people. You know.
But I will say too that when it comes to the entertainment industry, men can find roles and they are respected and they don't have to sexualize themselves.
Sure.
Whereas women, as they grow older, you have to look harder. You have to try harder if you don't want to sexualize yourself.
Right.
I will say, if we're gonna just to shout out like a Disney character, a kid that went on to do like super cool stuff, though, was Bridget Mendler.
From
really? Good Luck Charlie.
Yeah, Good Luck Charlie
'Cause
was, and Lemonade Mouth.
Yeah,
Great movie.
But she went on to, she got like a bunch of degrees, and she and her husband are trying to like do some weird space
That's
stuff. Like
right.
she went on to do like a lot of hard working, and she got out of the entertainment.
Yeah.
industry.
You know, one that didn't make it
Standing
though.
on top of the world.
Shia LaBeouf.
Oh yeah, he trained right. He bottomed out.
But
I
then
think
he
he's
kinda
back
bounced
on
back.
track.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them do bounce back when they hit their older years, but they
like a
definitely,
roller coaster.
yeah, you definitely hit that bottom.
But it does seem to be that the girls.
I would agree.
I don't
You
think
know,
you're wrong.
we talked about this not that long
Screech
ago.
bottomed out.
Yeah.
Is Screech dead?
Yes, he died of cancer.
Oh, R.I.P.
Wah, wah. Anyway, we talked about this earlier. When it comes to comedians, women can't
Tell
succeed
jokes.
as well.
No.
Can't succeed as well
Come on,
in the
man.
comedic world as men. And we started thinking maybe it's because comedy these days is more vulgar
Sure.
than clean. That's why we love Nate Bargatze
Right.
so much.
Right.
But it's hard for women to succeed in clean comedy because a man doesn't want to. Remember we talked about this? A man doesn't want to see a woman up on stage making all these vulgar jokes
Right.
and stuff. That's
Right.
expected by the world. A man doesn't really want that. He doesn't want that vulgar girl to take home to his parents.
Right.
So he's not going to sit there and listen. And it might be the same. I don't know. It might be the same just in the entertainment industry genre in general. Like, do guys really want a cookie cutter girl?
Mm.
You know, when are they going to keep finding roles for this cookie cutter girl unless she's starring on the Hallmark Channel?
That's
Maybe.
that makes sense to me. That if you're going to stay in the world of wholesomeness,
Yeah.
there's
Right.
not a
You
lot
have Hallmark,
of
you have Disney.
Yeah.
You have to stay in the kid genre.
yeah.
There's not, because when you
But
start
then
getting,
it doesn't
well,
matter.
okay, if you want to talk about this, Zendaya, perfect example. She was
She-
on Shake It Up or
Shake It Up Chicago.
Yeah, okay. So, and she was great, but then the redheaded girl bottomed out
Yeah.
big time and got into some really messed up
Who
stuff.
that is.
She is not
She
someone
was-
you would want to, push your kids towards.
But then Zendaya goes and does Greatest Showman and has a couple other things and does great.
Zac
But
Efron.
Though she is starting to do the mature movie,
she
mature
just
show
did
stuff.
that stupid tennis show.
Yeah.
The tennis movie. That tennis movie is horrible. Again, that is one of the worst movies of all time, and it is beyond a shadow of a doubt the worst sports movie ever. But it is so not good. But it's very adult themed.
Well, and she did that drug one too, right, on
Yeah.
HBO?
Yeah. Yeah, and so she's
Euphoria.
doing
Euphoria.
Yeah.
That's it.
Don't like.
So
ugh,
she's doing
awful.
these other roles to not be seen as a child actress
Yeah.
anymore, especially when you look young. Like Selena Gomez still looks like a kid, you know?
Yeah.
She
Um,
maintained some of her like just kind of like child
Baby look,
But
yeah.
I think she got that Only Murders in the Building
Yes.
It's a good show.
gig,
Yeah.
and I think that's helped her because it's not. I haven't watched it.
It's
but
a
I
comedy.
don't think it's sexualizing her.
No,
but
no,
it
no.
gives her the respect. I think they won an Emmy
Yeah.
recently,
Yeah, and they're
so I think
pumping
she's
out
doing
like a
good.
season every single year.
Yeah,
right
I've
now.
I've watched like 5 episodes and then I was out.
I was kind of bored with it,
Yeah.
but I know people who do love it.
Yeah, because my problem with that one was Short, Martin Short, because he always kind of plays the same character and everything. And I loved him in Santa Claus 3.
Amigos. Oh,
Oh
As
no!
Jack
oh
Frost.
yeah, as Jack Frost, he was great in that.
Perfect.
But like that's his character is always Frank. You know, well, he was good in the Father of the Bride too.
yeah, so good.
Frank.
party pooper, party pooper.
Every party has a pooper.
and that poop was you.
Yeah, and so like I'm not a giant fan of him, and I like Steve Martin and stuff too. But yeah, I couldn't. I tried, but I could not get into it.
I think I'll be kind of curious about because I feel like there was this really big heyday of Disney kid stars, and I couldn't tell you what Disney Channel is nowadays, and that's partially because
that's
You're gonna
good.
be back in.
that's partially
You're
I
29.
know I'll get there, but it's also because we live in a streaming world now too.
Right.
Like we don't exist in this world where I'm gonna go turn on Disney Channel very
Right.
often. So I'm
Turns on Bluey.
Yeah, I do, and you know what, Bluey is an
Bluey's
animated
wholesome.
character that can't go off the rails someday.
Yeah, Bluey's great. Yeah, they do a Where Are They Now, and Bluey's got a drug addiction or
Adult
something
Bluey.
like.
Or do you find out the kid that voiced Bluey is doing
Ah,
something
yeah.
You know what?
crazy?
Just avoid it all.
Yeah.
Don't look any of that up.
Just don't find out.
Find another voice, you know. So, do you got any birthdays?
I do.
We're running out of time, so what do you got?
Carrie wants to wish her dad, Steve, a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Steve. Said he is the best dad in the world.
That's not true. She's lying
It's
Why?
me.
because I'm the best dad in the world.
Oh.
He-
okay.
Steve is second best.
Oh.
Gavin's
What about
third.
Gavin?
Steve.
Gavin's new. Gavin doesn't have any track record yet.
Come on.
Yeah, he doesn't have any track
I've been
record
great
yet.
for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then Abigail wants to wish Aubrey a happy birthday, saying she's an amazing friend, dancer, and child of God. We both listen to The Wally Show. Happy birthday,
Yay!
Aubrey. Here is the question. This one is from Abigail. What is your favorite fall tradition? Is it pumpkin spice latte, pumpkin patches, hay rides, etc.?
I don't have a fall tradition. I don't
You
care
don't?
about
There's
fall.
not one thing?
I don't care
What
about
a-
like
Oh,
I
it's
what a
my
bum.
favorite.
I like that it gets cooler, obviously, but I don't live for it. Now, I will say this: I like my wife's fall clothes. Like I think she has really nice like fall clothes, sweaters and
boots, and
stuff.
all
Yeah,
that.
I like the fall look of like fashion, if you, as it were. But yeah, I don't
like
have.
the fall
I do like
That's
fall
your
fashion.
favorite.
Wow. Okay, I guess I do have something. I was
That's
wrong.
funny.
Stand corrected.
I tell you what I love. I love corn mazes. I love the fall leaves. I love the smell of the bonfire burning leaves. I love s'mores. Love s'mores.
I love fall candles.
Yes, I love fall candles. I love the fashion. I love that there's no humidity, so I can wear my hair down if I like.
You ever made an indoor s'more?
Yes.
They have an indoor s'more
It's
maker.
not as good.
Yeah, it's not. You got to have
Yeah.
the
You're
talking
like
about
little
just when
bits
you
of
would put the-
charcoal on it.
Oh, really? We always used to just take marshmallows and put them over the stove burner. And
Yeah.
You can do that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
but they actually make them now. Where
They
you
have
plug
they
them
have-
in.
Yeah. I don't. I
That seems
don't
like
like
It
s'mores.
seems like cheating.
My hands get all sticky.
I don't either. It's
I-
it's a bad sandwich.
What?
Yeah, it's an overrated. It's the
You're overrated.
it's the taco of desserts. And so whenever we make s'mores,
agree with that one,
like
but-
we would go to Molly and Greg's house, and they would do a fire and make s'mores. I would always just eat the chocolate bars. I didn't make anything. I would have marshmallows by
The
themselves.
marshmallow is the best
Yeah,
part.
I would
You
eat that
burn
by
it?
itself,
Yeah. I
like
think
out of the
that's so
bag.
worthwhile. I think you're right though, because when you do a little push down with it, then you're just gonna have all the marshmallow coming off,
So good.
and then you have all
Why
these
are you
sticky hands.
complaining?
No, you have to just. Be,
I don't understand.
You just have to have like wet wipes near you.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah,
Do
it's
it with
sticky
Reese's
and-
Pieces. That's
yeah.
a good. Or Reese's.
Talking
just
to a bunch of
Reese's.
girls.
You're a girl.
What's your favorite part, Gavin?
I think it's like you said, fires. We always try to throw like a fall kickoff party in our
Football.
backyard. I love
Football.
dude. Football is
So
all
Wally
I
says
care about.
fashion and Gavin says football. Who's the real girl
My
here?
weekends are established for the next until
Football.
February. That's like all I
What
am.
if Bennett, your son, doesn't like football?
That's
then
fine.
what?
It'll be interesting. It depends on the thing with me that's I think advantageous about being a dad
Advantageous.
is that I do have diverse interests. So like I can read the totally nerdy books. If my kid wants to do D&D someday,
Right.
I have the
What
ability.
if he's not into
I've got
that?
the dice.
understand
Yes,
that.
I've got it right here. 20-sided dice. Right here, son. Let's go.
I've never done D&D. I just want to point that out.
It's D&D. we had this comedian that did parody songs on years ago in a mainstream station I was on, and he had his,
We're running out of time.
as a D&D song. It's so funny. It's D&D.
Was that it?
Fighting with the legends of your. But he did it live, and it was so good. Like it was funny. It was two nerds talking about their D&D.
I have to take your word for it.
It was really good. Oh, Stephen Lynch, you got it. Okay, good. You enjoy this.
I got my 12-sided die and I'm ready to roll with the wizard and my goblin crew. My friends are coming over to my mom's basement bringing Funyuns and the Mountain Dew.
That's right.
I got a big broadsword made out of cardboard and that stereo's a pumping Zeppelin. It's that time of the night. We turn on the black light. Let the Dungeons and the Dragons begin. It's D&D. Fighting with the legends of yore. It's D&D.
Never kissed a lady before.
All right, you gonna bring the thunder? Bring the thunder. Come on, bring the thunder, man. Come on. Let's go.
I will say that my little brother literally has his friends come out and visit every single year, and they do a D&D campaign for
Oh, wow.
like 3 or 4 days. They are just like at my parents'
Man,
house.
I used to make fun
Is
of
he
people for
dating
that.
anybody?
No.
Has he ever dated anybody?
No.
He has.
Okay, good. I used to make fun of people for that kind of stuff, but I'm like, you go.
If you're not hurting
Dude.
anybody,
no,
Dude,
go
you
for
go.
it.
Like if
So
you
wholesome.
love
But it
that
is
so
funny.
much,
Wholesome? I wouldn't go that
No,
far.
but just like
Yeah.
I'm getting at what you're pointing
right?
out.
You got your friends, and you got people that love what you love, and you want to just hang out.
The
like
only
it's
context
great.
I have is Stranger Things. Isn't that
Yeah.
what they played
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the show?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I kind of.
It's
Yeah.
It's just if you
It's like
enjoy doing
Pokemon
something,
cards or
it's,
something.
You know, I don't know.
Fantasy role play.
I think
have
if
this
Bennett really
Pokemon
gets
card.
into that, I will point him in the direction of his uncle. That'll be a super cool thing that he and Josh will get to connect with. Ideally, Bennett plays sports and loves sports.
Okay.
Now, it'll be interesting because I'm like, do I give him the teams
Is
that
ballet a sport?
It's
Because I
not-
feel that's where
it's
Bennett's
not.
headed.
I won't.
Cheerleading? Gymnastics.
Hey, Logan Kane was a cheerleader. I don't know about that. That argument might not work.
So good. Yeah, trust me, your kids will disappoint you. They just will. They do. Like you want them to go a different direction, and they find things.
Like spend all your money on a worthless degree.
Yes,
and then go
I
and do
wanted her to
something
be
else.
a penguin trainer. For the love, that's all I ask. Go be a penguin trainer or a dolphin trainer, so that I can go and also swim with them. But no, it's just to go be a musical theater major. All right,
Selfish,
I
am
know,
I right?
totally. All right, that's gonna have
What
to do
about
it
a
for
son
your
that cares
Aftercast.
about the hermit crabs?
Oh no, we don't need to. Open
Dead
that.
to all of
Let's
us.
not open that up.
All right, that's gonna do it for your Aftercast. Thanks for being a potty.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.